Why should you get a property management company to manage your properties? Hey, Mike Rosehart here, talking to you today about the value in property management and why I think it might make a lot of sense to hire a property manager to manage your properties. And I don't just mean if you're out of town. If you're out of town, most definitely you should. But why should you do it if you're local? Okay, so let's talk about some of the reasons why. I didn't make a real good list. I just kind of freeballed this video. It came to me a couple days ago, really, but I was thinking to myself, why do people hire property managers? And well, for one, I think it makes a lot of sense because managing your own properties is very stressful. Best case scenario is you've got tenants messaging with water leaks, problems, at least they're maybe on a good side, they're hostile, fighting about rent issues and rent collection. If, God forbid, it gets to a point where you're going to landlord-tenant board, you will waste 10, 30, 40, 50 hours preparing your case, then going to landlord-tenant board and fighting about that. It's the same reason why I actually sold 11 of my properties, because I was tired of it all. I was tired of the stress, and in hindsight, I should have just found a really good manager. It was actually really difficult to do. I hired a couple and I fired a couple because they're really bad. It's hard to find good ones. There are ways you can vet and find good property managers. I think they need to be aligned to your interests, but property management is amazing. What is your time worth? For me and myself personally, I found that I was spending roughly 2 to 3 hours a week managing my own properties at the time, times call it 15, 17 properties, right? So if you do the math on that, I was spending on average a full-time job to manage my personal portfolio. That isn't financial independence for me. For some people it is. They really enjoy going by their properties and checking the smoke alarms by law every 6 months, and basically what that works out to is going to your properties pretty much every single week. Now, if you enjoy that, if that's part of your thing, you like checking your smoke alarms, you like making sure there's no water leaks and damages at your property and talking to your tenants, that could be your version of FIRE for some people. For me, it wasn't, and I ended up selling properties off instead of hiring a manager. But in this video, I want to talk specifically about some reasons why I think it makes a lot of sense. For one, time. What is your time worth? If you're a professional who had a decent job making more than 50 grand a year, it means your time's worth like $30 an hour. A property manager's time is worth less than that. Therefore, you should probably hire a property manager to do the work instead of doing the work yourself. It is cheaper to hire a professional to do the job. Plus, they'll have economies of scale. Having already going to some properties in the area, it's more efficient for them, for instance, to go drive and pick up rent than it is for you to drive all the way there and all the way back. Or for them to check on smoke detectors when they're checking on 5 other smoke detectors on the street. It's way more efficient for them to do that than for you to have 40 minutes drive time, let's say, in heavy traffic, check a smoke detector, do another property, and then come all the way back 45 minutes. That's not efficient use of your time. Drive time is a major sink of time when you're managing properties, especially if you're from Toronto and trying to own property in London or trying to own property in Windsor. That can be difficult, and oftentimes you can't get a hold of good contractors when you need them the most. So having a property manager to dispatch those issues is awesome. It is actually stress getting messages from tenants, trying to coordinate that with a property maintenance guy or a contractor, and there and back, right? There's stress, there's risk. There's also the good chance that most people who buy properties, most dentists, doctors, successful individuals who buy real estate don't know the Residential Tenancy Act well. They just don't know it. They don't know how to write a good lease and what addendums to put into it. They don't know how to show a property and market it well and take good pictures. They don't know how to navigate throughout the complex environment. They don't understand construction, for instance, and get swindled by contractors because the contractor tells them they need to do this and this, and they aren't boots on the ground, knowledgeable in how to fix certain issues. They will trust a contractor's opinion. That can be a big mistake in many cases. So that's why I think it can make a lot of sense to actually hire a property manager instead of simply trying to manage all your properties yourself. I would prefer to invest that time and that stress and energy, because stress is a big one. I might get a 10-minute text from a tenant that ends up weighing on my mind for 3 to 4 hours as I work through that problem. Or maybe I get a text at midnight and it keeps me up at night. That hour or two of loss of sleep is more than what, it's really honestly more than what I think is worth stomaching. That is why I started a property management company. Now, a lot of the practices and best practices that I've used, though I don't like property management, I still do it because I'm training people to do that. I have my partner Way. We have a few new key employees who have joined our team. And so the idea is within the next 3 months, we should have a team of like 5 to 10, hopefully, independent contractors working with us that know the systems. And we've got great software to manage all of that, where tenant texts don't come to me anymore. And that's amazing. That's why one of the reasons I built this company, not the only reason, was to basically have my own properties managed as a part of my own company and have that kind of in-house service. But I didn't want to manage the properties. I didn't want the tenant texts. I don't want the stress of all of that. And thankfully, it goes mostly to my business partner and then his division of operations, a couple of guys he basically hands it to. And now we have a cool software that automatically escalates a lot of that to all of the different parties that are necessary in the transaction. So we have a property manager, we might have a kind of maintenance guy full-time who will be coming back and forth to solve those problems, and it gets filtered through the property manager, et cetera. Using this software, basically we accept the request, or we delay it until there's enough requests that it makes sense to send someone out to the property. So anyway, I just think property management makes a lot of sense. We're actually not looking to acquire any new properties. I don't want to manage people's properties. I would prefer to manage people's properties whom I can select that. Like, I would prefer to be very selective about the properties. So I'm sure people will call me if they're East London trash and want me to manage it for them. I just don't have an interest in that. Our company doesn't even have an interest in that. But my thought is, I'm just gonna throw this video out there because a lot of people are on the frugal side, right? On the spend less side. And I used to be there for a long time. It was really hard for me to work up the strength, because it really took a lot of strength and fortitude for me to say, hey, I gotta go against my frugal core value and realize that my time is more valuable sometimes than my money. And so spending $20 to fix a problem is a lot cheaper than me spending 2.5 hours of my own time. And I see a lot of small-time landlords get into their 40s, 50s, and 60s, guys who get older, but doing this for a long time, and they still go to their properties and do everything themselves, and it's super inefficient, and they're wasting a lot of their time. They could have spent that time grabbing one more deal, or earning some extra money, or doing high value tasks that really do build the portfolio up and bring you real wealth, as opposed to saving you $20 here or there, especially towards the end of your journey when your time should really be invested smartly. So anyway, that's the video for today. I think it makes a lot of sense to effectively use property management to isolate yourself from the tenant, and having a good property manager in place that's going to take really good care of your property. You'll have a higher value on your property if you have a manager in there that's on the ground, really looking out for the best interest of the property, whom can bring the expertise to the property to renovate it strategically, to manage all of that stress and do all of that for you. And I think in most cases, you'll find property managers can get slightly higher rents because they're better at marketing and they're more in tune. Lower vacancy rates, again, because they're in tune with, they have a list of tenants. Often we have a list of tenants on wait lists sometimes. So that's really important. A good property manager will ensure lower vacancies, higher rents, lower utility bills because they're watching everything, lower risk of fires, overall better maintenance for your property, less issues with property standards and municipal standards in your area, and help you navigate through that rental licensing program. All of that, that's what a property manager brings to the table. And I think it makes a lot of sense to have property management on your property so you can focus on what you do best, which is hopefully earning a lot of money or building your business up or just enjoying your life. So go out there and do that. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Do you manage your own properties? Are you looking for a property manager? Have you hired property managers? By the way, bad property managers are very expensive, so you have to, I should do a video on how you vet and find good property managers. So that's the whole video for today. Another just vlog style, a lot less formal, just me talking at the camera, sharing some thoughts and opinions on property management and real estate investing in general, and why I think it could be a really smart move to hire the right manager to take care of your real estate assets and ensure you get optimal performance and really, honestly, optimal return on your investment. Because at the end of the day, no one landlords for the love of the tenants. We landlord for the money. We enjoy the return on our investment. I don't know any landlords who do this just because they love to fight with tenants or fix properties up. I don't know anyone who does that, but maybe there's someone out there. And if you're out there, let me know in the comments. You can troll me. I'll take that comment and I'll respond to it. And maybe I'll even share it on my Instagram stories and humiliate you. Just kidding. I won't do that. I might do that. Okay. Spend less, earn more, maximize returns, unlock a wealthier you. Bye, guys.